I didn't really care about colleges the first few years of high school. My grades weren't perfect, my extracurriculars were subpar. Jacob couldn't explain who he was or what he cared about until everything changed during his junior year. He was watching his classmates scramble last minute with their applications while he was dealing with his own challenges. Chronic procrastination, lack of direction, and zero confidence in his college prospects. If you had asked me a year ago if I could go to a good school with a full ride, I wouldn't have believed you because I didn't even believe in myself. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal how he discovered his authentic story, transformed from a chronic procrastinator to a disciplined applicant, and secured a complete full ride scholarship that covers everything from tuition to housing to meals. You'll see how starting a few months earlier than your peers can make all the difference, even if you don't have perfect grades or extracurriculars. Hello,
Hey,
how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Jacob, so much for hopping on today and kind of sharing your story with everyone and then also kind of recapping your journey over the past few months. Could you begin by maybe briefly introducing yourself? So your name, your school, and where you plan to attend college for this upcoming fall?
So my name is Jacob Chinmugam. I go to school in Orlando, Florida at Lake Highland, and I'm going to the University of South Florida in the fall.
That is amazing. And could I ask you, that is a really, really great school. And I know that you've put a lot of work into that application, but what other colleges did you also get into? And then if you received any scholarships, which scholarships did you receive?
Yeah, so I got into a few of the schools. I got into most of my Florida schools, so Florida State, Florida Atlantic, Southern Methodist, Colorado Boulder, and Fordham University. And then I also received a full ride to the University of South Florida, and I also got a scholarship covering housing and dining. So
no, that is amazing. I think that one of the biggest bottlenecks whenever it does come to college is definitely the financial aspect, and the fact that you were able to get a full scholarship to that school is absolutely amazing. And I know they have a lot of great research opportunities there. So I'm excited for you to pursue that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. And with all of these acceptances, that is very, very respectable. But could you also maybe kind of give a brief background on your particular academic journey and then what you specifically hope to achieve with your college admissions journey?
Yeah, for sure. So like when I started high school, I really didn't care about college. Like I was really like kind of like out of the loop of everything. I didn't have a dream school. I didn't have any really goals for myself. And so I really just didn't try it all the first couple of years. And it wasn't until my junior year when I really started kind of thinking about my future and then decided that I actually wanted to kind of lock in and like actually solidify a plan for myself to ensure that I actually go to college. And as a result, of course, my grades weren't perfect. You know, my extracurriculars weren't up to par. But ever since then, thanks to you guys, I've been able to really like help myself, keep myself in check, and really strengthen my own like extracurriculars, which honestly helped me like in so many other ways. But yeah, for sure.
Could I actually ask a follow-up question on that with like how did it help you in other ways?
Yeah, so it definitely gave me a lot more meaning to things that I do, aside from just the things that I did for school, like my clubs, volunteering, etc. It helped me find actual purpose, because when I would do things, I would just do them like mindlessly. You know, if I volunteered, I just kind of do it just to get the hours on a piece of paper, like for my resume or whatever it is. But after kind of like thinking more about why I'm doing these things, I did things that actually had meaning to me and had purpose, and that let me kind of branch out about other things that I actually really enjoy for myself.
No, yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do here at Ultimate Ivy League Guide, because I think a lot of the times I see students, they do a lot of amazing things, but for the sake of college applications, and then they end up losing themselves in the process. And that's what we want to avoid, right? We want to make sure that you are not only improving your college application profile, but you're also understanding yourself more and finding your purpose, your values, and the role that you play in your community. That is amazing. And I think that definitely you probably have a very similar story to a lot of students who began high school not necessarily knowing much about college admissions, not really caring too much. And then by junior year, kind of realizing like, oh, this is something that I probably need to start thinking about.
Yeah.
So could I ask you, do you wish you started planning your college admissions process earlier? And then also like you didn't start too late, you kind of started in your junior year. So what advantages did you gain from starting
hmm
starting slightly early in that sense?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wish I did start a little bit earlier, probably like my freshman, sophomore year, to really align my track going forward with the next couple of years of high school. I think I had an advantage starting early because a lot of kids in my grade started pretty late. They started, somewhere before senior year. They're all rushing to get their deadlines done, their essays, all that stuff, and it was a stressful time. But thankfully for me, because I started earlier-ish in my junior year, I was able to kind of have a manageable plate, in front of me, and I
Mhm.
could have, realistic deadlines and expectations for myself to keep myself accountable. But yeah, I wish I started earlier because again, like you guys helped me a lot, and I think starting earlier would have really just strengthened myself and my application so much more.
No, yeah, definitely. I think that whenever it comes to building a really strong application profile, it's not
hmm
just the essays, but it's more so the consistency and the ability to kind of show your story throughout high school as
hmm
well. So, definitely starting early is going to be a strategic advantage for a lot of students. But I'm glad that nonetheless you were still able
hmm
to start at the end of your junior year and thus have a more manageable workload throughout that summer and then also in your senior year as well
Yeah.
so that you weren't like scrambling last minute, you know?
hmm
And with that, I know that you had joined our Ultimate Ivy League Guide program at the end of your junior year. So I guess what was it about us that made you ultimately want to work with me and my team opposed to all of the other solutions that are out there?
Yeah, so there were two big things for me personally. First was you guys were a lot more affordable. I've noticed a bunch of other counselors and college, like, companies, they charge so much money, like,
Mhm.
exacerbating amounts, and it's insane to think how much these people are paying. And you guys were really affordable, but also you guys were a lot more hands-on than the other places. A lot of places just kind of like, they give you like a workbook or they give you just some, files to fill out, but you guys were way more hands-on and actually involved in every single step of our process and gave, 24-hour access, like constant resources, updates, help whenever I needed it. So that was two big things.
Thank you so much for pointing that out because I think that's exactly what we're trying to do here. I know that there's college admissions companies out there charging like $30,000 or
Yeah.
more just to meet with a student like once a month, which is
hmm
insane to me and honestly extremely unrealistic. And then in addition to that, I've also noticed a lot of college companies out there, they'll give students a checklist and just tell them to follow
hmm
it, but that's not what we're trying to do here. We really want to get hands on with you guys and work with you guys, help you guys revise line by line and word by word to ensure that we are making the most unique aspects of your profile really, really stand out rather than just following
Yeah.
like a cookie cutter formula in that
Yeah.
sense. And while you were working with us during the months that you were in our program, what information or strategies did you learn that you hadn't really discovered on your own?
Yeah, definitely was presenting myself in my own story. I think one of the biggest issues earlier was I didn't really know who I was, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't really know if someone asked me if I was in a job interview, anything about me. I didn't know what I cared about, what I found special. Like, it was hard for me to kind of grasp that sort of thing. And so after I met with you guys, I found out specifically why I love my community, why I like things that I like. It really helped me kind of find a way to explain myself to whoever I needed to. And especially for job interviews too, I think that's a big one too. And just for, professionally and career wise, you have to really kind of, explain who you are. And I think throughout this process, I learned so much about myself and I could kind of solidify those kinds of points in my mind. So
Wow, that's amazing. I think that the skill of storytelling actually goes a long way, way
yeah.
beyond just college essays as well. Like, as I kind of refined my skill of storytelling more, I realized it actually helped me so much in just daily conversations with other interviews as well. And a
hmm
lot of the times, students in the college application process, they don't realize how important their narrative really
hmm
matters, right? They just think that, just stacking on a bunch of accomplishments and awards will get
Yeah.
me in, but that's not necessarily the case. It's all about how can you communicate your experiences in the right
hmm
way to admissions officers.
Exactly.
I know that you are a very busy student. You're handling a lot of extracurriculars, passion projects, obviously things at home as well. How did you kind of manage to incorporate our guidance into your already very busy schedule?
hmm I think something that I lacked that I really gained throughout this process was discipline and accountability. Before
Mm,
I was a huge procrastinator. I didn't really kind of manage myself. but you guys really kept me accountable, kept me with my deadlines, etc. And so I think because you guys were so involved with my process, I was able to kind of have motivation for myself to do things I had to do. And so it let me find time for myself to really work on these things.
No, yeah, I think sometimes we do need like a second person to be
Mm-hmm.
there and kind of guide us through the process to make sure that we are staying on top of deadlines for sure. And I'm glad that you were able to kind of keep yourself disciplined and implement the strategies that we suggested in a consistent and manageable way. Could I ask you, like, what strategies did we teach you through our program that helped you kind of stand out in today's current competitive admissions landscape?
I think definitely authenticity. I've noticed for a
Mm.
lot of people, and especially a lot of the people in my school, whenever they have interviews or talk about themselves, it's always like a very generic, like cookie cutter kind of thing. They don't actually like. It seems like they don't like talking about themselves, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like they just talk about it like they're reading off like a script in their mind. And so I've noticed that the strategies that I've been able to kind of gain is again like back to storytelling. I've been able to like show genuine emotion and connection to things that I like, which I think has really helped me stand out in a lot of different ways compared to other people because it shows that I genuinely care about the things that I do and that I'm a genuinely motivated person, not someone just looking for accomplishments just to put on a resume.
No, yeah, for sure. I think a lot of the times students don't realize how powerful authenticity is in the college admissions process because at the end of the day, these admission officers, right, they're trying to admit real people with real passions. And so if you come off very robotic, it actually makes you blend in with everyone else, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
perfection isn't what will get you in, it will get you blended in with everyone else. And so, yeah, authenticity is so important
Mhm.
in the application process. And with that, with your ability to show that authenticity, you've obviously been able to gain a lot of admissions into your dream colleges and then these scholarships as well. Could I ask you, whenever you received your acceptance, whether that was your college acceptance or your scholarship grant and reward, how did you feel? Like, could you describe the moment whenever you were opening your letter?
Yeah, it was honestly unreal. I think it's like a state of shock because you open it and obviously like in my mind I'm like prepared to get rejected. I've like mentally been preparing myself, and then I
Yeah.
see that I get in and then I got a scholarship too. It feels definitely just unreal because if you would have asked me a year before, I wouldn't have thought that I would be able to accomplish anything like that. I mean, if you asked me, a year ago if I was able to go to a good school near me on a full ride, I genuinely wouldn't have believed you because I didn't even believe in myself. And so I'm so grateful that thanks to you guys, I was able to find like my purpose and my story. Just even opening all my other schools acceptances, it just felt unreal because I always thought that these things were so unattainable for me.
Mm.
But seeing that I actually did get them, it just felt like I could truly do whatever wanted to.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that brings me a lot of purpose to know that we not only help you through this process, but also helped you gain confidence in yourself. And I think that is honestly the reason why I do what I do because I want to be able to empower students like you. And sharing your story, I think, will also allow you to inspire other students who might seem anxious or nervous in their college application process too. And I know that you had mentioned that, like, if you were talking to yourself a year ago and seeing where you are now, you wouldn't believe what you had accomplished. I think that is a testament to how much can actually change in so little time. And so, with that, I want to ask you, like, if you were speaking to your younger self, or maybe the person that you were a year ago, what would you tell yourself knowing what you know now?
I think definitely just to kind of trust the process of life. I think because, I was going through a lot in the beginning stages of high school with my family, with just, external things. And I think it was definitely hard to see like a brighter future or like a clear path ahead of me. But I think something that I need to tell myself is to just not be afraid to get help from other people and to really rely on those who want to help you because you guys truly wanted to help me and make me a better applicant and a better person as a whole. And so I think I would probably just tell myself and my younger self to just let the people who want to help you help you.
No, yeah, definitely. I think the real question isn't like, should I reach out for help? It's more so, am I actually ready to let someone help me and let
Hmm.
someone guide me? because there's so many students that were in the exact same spot as you that have this potential to achieve what you've now achieved, but it's only a matter of, can I actually ask for help and let someone help me do it?
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much again, Jacob, for
Oh yeah, for
sharing your
sure.
story and also for hopping on even though it is a weekend. Um, yeah, once again, it's so nice, I think, to be able to talk to students and see how much you've grown since the initial
Hmm.
onboarding call that I had with you. And I know that this is only just the first step in your journey and that there's so much more to go from here. So please continue to keep us updated as well with all of your
Hmm.
accomplishments, because we know that you have a lot in store in your future. So thank you so much, Jacob.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I hope you have a good rest of your
You
day.
too. You too. All right. Bye
Bye.
bye.